Hey, fellow rage quitters. Let's see if we can rage quit some peeps without rage quitting ourselves. Today, gonna do a little chat on Andrew Tate and self snitching. Um, and yeah, basically, it's a phenomenon that really just fascinates me because I as far as I can see, it seems to be driven by the want to have somebody, press a little like button on social media. And that is apparently enough reason to, you know, report about your own crimes uh, on YouTube or Instagram or whatever it may be. And so, yeah, I wanted to talk about Andrew Tate because, a lot of people say that, or a lot of his supporters, I should say that because he speaks all these truths that they want to get him, they don't, they want to silence him and blah blah blah. And a little disclaimer. I mean, uh, I discovered Tate because of Apna J, who is a pretty funny British comedian, Asian British comedian, and he he did a funny skit called like, how Andrew Tate talks or something like that. And yeah, that's basically it. And I thought, yeah, let me just find out why he was cancelled. I then heard he was cancelled, and I was like, yeah, let's find out, what's that's about. People say he's a misogynist, but let's find out for yourself. Find out for myself. And and yeah, basically, I was like, thought, well, I can't find anything in particular. It all seems to be more a case of, he says provocative things in a provocative way, which, could be classed as maybe old fashioned, maybe a bit sexist, but a lot of it seemed to be more a case of, he was just kind of triggering people, and I, found that quite funny. So then he gets arrested. He's in a cell in Romania and in a jail cell in Romania, and he's been arrested on sex trafficking charges. Now, as to whether it's like part of the matrix, as he calls it, and they're fighting back against him because they don't like him talking all of these truths, my should have gone there. Too late now. Too late now. Yeah, so as far as the Matrix and all of these, truths, the fact is he is in prison because on multiple occasions he has self-snitched. He has talked about how he has committed crimes. The first one that comes to mind is when he talks about setting up his webcam business and tricking women to, who were supposedly his girlfriends at the time, to um, to come out to Romania with him, and on the pretext that they were going to start a new life, and things were going to be all lovely and rosy. And the truth was that he wanted them to be part of this webcam business, and that in itself, I didn't realize this at the time, but that in itself is a crime. Yeah, in Romania. I'm sure in other countries it might not be, but in Romania it's a crime. And unfortunately for Andrew Tate, ignorance is never a defense. It's just never a defense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what country you're in. If you break a law, especially a serious law, the "I'm sorry, I didn't know that was even illegal" isn't a defense. It's like, well, you're in our country, you should know what's legal and illegal, especially in as it pertains to matters of business. You have to. It's just up to you. It's not up to us to to uh, to know if it's not up to us to make sure you know the laws. It's up to you to make sure you know the laws. Simple as that. So, uh, so yeah. So ultimately, shoot, I think I'm about to lose here. Yeah, damn. Okay, well that was pretty devastating. Ultimately, it's up to you. So he said that. So that's law number one that he's admitted to breaking on camera, tricking girls into coming to start with his webcam business. It started with 5 of his girlfriends. 3 of them left, 2 of them stayed. His words, very easy. And in fact, this video here, criminal lawyer analyzes Andrew Tate's own incriminating words. I won't sort of go into the video too much, but if you want to see that, I recommend, because you see everything he's kind of admitted to. And so that's number one. And then that became the model for his business, which, again, he's admitted to. So he's admitted, I used the lover boy technique to get women out here. 5 to begin with, worked with 2. And then by the end, I had 75 women working in 4 different locations. And that was the model. That's how he got people out there. Him and his brother, good looking guys, meet women online. And he even boasts about how a lot of them had no, and he preferred that, had no experience in the sex industry. So that's essentially a pimp. And he even says this on his Hustlers University. He says, um, uh, you know, he's basically, it's like a street pimp. And pimps are horrible people. If you aspire to be a pimp, you're a horrible person. I don't get this fascination with men who would manipulate women in such a way. Often preying on sort of vulnerable young girls. Um, and trying to trick them. You know, it's it's not cool. So he's admitted to that. He's admitted to that. Um, and and that's the first one. He then admits to tax evasion, because he says that he didn't want to pay taxes, and so what he did was he got paid in Bitcoin, which, spoiler alert, that didn't help you evade taxes. I'm sorry, it just didn't. Um, and he then said, in order to keep control over the women, and he freely admits this, and he uses that language, and says that, sorry, I just missed that move, and says that, like, this is the way to, keep the women under your control, because ultimately, they don't need you. These women don't need you. And so you've got to keep up that illusion. And the way he used to do it was he would give them a form, would find a tax form, print it out, fill it out and say, yeah, sign here and sign here. They would go, oh, what's that? Because women are stupid, were his exact words. Um, and then, yeah, get them to fill out this fake tax form. And he said he would just throw it in the bin. That's a crime, and he's admitted to that. So they've got this video, and they will play this in court. If he says, "Oh, you're lying," they'll just hit play, and it will be him speaking. And if he says something like, "Shoot, I totally forgot that white bishop was there." If he says something like, if he says something like, uh, I was joking, I was playing a character, it was all for the Hustlers University or whatever, then um, they will, they'll corroborate. They'll say, well, but we've got evidence because now we've looked into your financial situation. We've actually corroborated that thing because we don't just take your word for it that you committed these crimes, just like we wouldn't take your word for it, just like we wouldn't take anybody else's word for it. If they came to you and they came and said, yeah, you've committed loads of crimes, we we wouldn't just take their word for it. We'd actually investigate and see, right, is this true? Has this person actually uh committed these crimes? That is, this material evidence of party of a third opponent, I think they call it, when someone snitches, even if they're snitching on themselves. um is it true? And so they would have come up with this, and said, right, okay, we're gonna investigate you now because you're now admitting to crimes. He also says that he was looking for a country. He was looking for a country that had very lax laws in this scenario. So when you're saying, oh yeah, and that's the video where he says, I want to walk into a lawyer's and say, I've committed multiple felonies, can you help me? And it's like, well, no, I can't. If you've committed multiple felonies, as you say, then no, you're kind of screwed, mate. You're kind of screwed because that's it. Multiple felonies, like, what are we talking here? Murder. I mean, what evidence is there? I mean, if you've committed these multiple felonies, you are going to prison. I mean, I'll try and get you a short sentence, but hey, that's all I can do. And if you walk into a lawyer's and say, I've committed multiple felonies and I have detailed a lot of them on podcasts, which people have shared ad infinitum across the internet because that's how I spread my message. Any lawyer who says to you anything other than you're going to jail just wants your money. Do you know what I mean? They just want your money. That's it. I've lost this game. Simple as that. I've lost this game. I've lost this game. He's going to go there now, and I'll resign. Well, I'll get his queen as well. Leave him with a rook, and then he should win quite easily. So yeah, that's basically it. If you are a self snitcher, okay, something might be able to be done here. Might get some surprise checkmate. Is there any merit into letting him have that and getting this one instead? I don't think so. You know, so yeah, that's the long and short of it. This ongoing amazing phenomenon of self snitching just carries on, like, just charges on. It's really quite amazing. I wish you had a pawn there. But I took it away, didn't I? Um, it just carries on, basically. It carries on. It's quite uh, a funny thing because, yeah, people are just committing crime and then talking about it on the internet and then wondering why they end up in prison, or and then their supporters go, oh yeah, it's all a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. I mean, if there is a conspiracy there, then wow, I mean, that would make one hell of a film, wouldn't it? Because what what kind of conspiracy is going to cause people to self snitch like this? I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, that's about it. I think I'm going to leave you before I actually lose this game. And that's what we take away from it. Andrew Tate's a self snitch. If you're one of his supporters, just don't take it personally. I mean, when people don't just do mental gymnastics to try and figure out why he's in prison, because he's ultimately um, he's ultimately in prison because he snitched on himself committing crimes. It's simple as that. There's no there's no mystery behind it. You know, he committed the crimes, self-snitched, he got arrested. Will he go to prison? I don't know, but I don't know I know a lot of the evidence is out there because I've watched it, but I don't know all of the evidence. Financial records, blah blah blah, witness statements, all of that. That's all going to go to whether he goes to prison or not. Um, for a really good legal analysis, check this guy Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer, reacts to Andrew Tate's own incriminating words, and yeah, basically that'll be it. And if this guy makes a mistake, which he hasn't, I was about to get checkmate. Yeah, come on, there's got to be checkmate now. Come on, just finish me off for the rage quitters before we go. There we go. Okay, see you later, rage quitters. Peace out.